Well, it's a pretty eventful week here in Austin, and of course, some of you know. I'll let you guys that don't know. Today, it's Friday. Colin Cowherd came down here to Austin at Scholz Garten, and me and my friend got up early in the morning, went down there, saw Aaron Hogan and Dan Neal for a little bit, and then got to watch the herd for a while. I had to leave an hour early, so I didn't get to see Warren Moon and Kirk Herbstreit, but it was really neat. And I felt that it was a great show, and it was I've always enjoyed when I get a chance to listen to Colin Cowherd. Do I always agree with him? Of course not, but he's usually pretty interested in what he has to say. He's very thoughtful what he has to say, and he did pick Texas to win the national championship. Just saying, though, his sizzling sevens and his picks have been pretty bad lately, but we'll see. But I brought that up because, of course, he's down here, and ESPN, the mothership, has hit Austin, Texas, because game day is here for the Texas Longhorns versus Texas Tech Red Raiders. They went to Lubbock last year for that game, which is a classic, and our team was on the wrong end of it. But I was at game day for that one as well, and it was awesome. And I plan on being there tomorrow morning. So tonight we'll be heading out, trying to get a spot. It'll be out in front of the tower, so you guys, if you're coming, I'll be there. Let me know, say what's up. But I brought that up because talking about this game coming up, Mack Brown, he had an interview with Mack Brown. And Mack wasn't there at Scholz Garten, but he was on the phone. And Colin asked him, was there ever a game that you've played, that you've coached in, or when after it was over, you told yourself, I just got out-coached. The other guy had his team just better prepared than I did a better job than I did. And Mack said, of course. And the game he brought up was last year, Texas Tech. He said, that Texas Tech team was better prepared, not just plays-wise, because both teams were very good and knew how to run plays and lifted weights and that kind of stuff. The physical aspect was there. But emotionally, he said emotionally we weren't there. Texas Tech, Mike Leach got his team emotionally ready for that game. Not only just to jazz themselves up and say, hey, we're going to beat Texas, but to be able to utilize that to their strength and to knock us off there at the end. Yeah, we made some, and like he said, Max said, we made some big plays and got ourselves back in the game. But overall, we got physically whipped up front, both sides of the football. So, I bring that up to say this. I think Texas is going to roll this week against Texas Tech. Because I think, one, as I've said before earlier in the weeks, Texas is bringing back almost the same team from last year. We lost some key guys. Quan Cosby and Brian Rakpo are two of the big losses. But overall, we're bringing the same guys back. That being said, Texas Tech has lost Graham Harrell, lost Michael Crabtree, lost one of their best offensive linemen and one of their best safeties, and other guys. So I would make the argument that Texas this year is almost as good as last year, maybe better. I don't think Texas Tech can make that argument for their team. Because last year, and of course I made fun of Texas Tech earlier in this week, talking about the rush in the field and stuff. Look, guys, I understand that that's a huge moment for you guys. I'm making those videos to get you guys to come out. And before I go on, I want to give props to the Texas Tech video guys who responded to that and came out and made vids. And of course, my good friend who was from last year, who I did meet in Lubbock, Fear the Jones, of course, may come back. And hopefully after this week, we'll continue to make some vids, make some good stuff. I think he's coming down for the game as well. And then some new guys, Reckham TTU and TTU Pirate 5. And I think a guy who made a bid last year for this game, I think Shiner Beer, So all you guys, repping Texas Tech, of course you didn't like what I had to say. I said your team sucks. You're not supposed to like that. But this is what's part of it. And I said, and before I go on, if Texas Tech does beat us, and I don't think you will, but if they do beat us this season, last season you beat us, and what did I do? I got on here, and I was humble and let you guys know that you guys were the better team that day. And that, of course, you took care of business, and we didn't. That's what this is all about. It's all trash talk. It's all fun to make fun of each other's team. But at the end of the week, if my team loses, I'll extend my hand and say, congratulations, guys. Go on and do bigger and better things. But as I was saying, going back to it, I think that with Mack knowing that really the difference between last year was that we were not mentally prepared for that game, we will be this week. Because, of course, the guys are talking about, the vengeance factor. It's not a big deal. It is. And this has been circled on the calendar. Because let's face it, and Texas Tech is along with the same deal. Most of the people you play, especially in the non-conference, you're better than. We played Wyoming and UL Monroe. Texas Tech played North Dakota and Rice. Both of those teams, when they went into those first two games, knew they were going to win, knew they were going to win big. This is the first chance for these two teams to show what they really have. And I really have a feeling that Texas has the much better team this season. And it's in Austin. Tech, you guys, when you play in Lubbock, you guys live up to the Under Armour phrase of "we must protect this house." When OU and Texas go to Tech, you guys either knock us off or you give us a dang good game. Sometimes when Vince Young was here, we did take care of business in Lubbock, but most of the time it's usually the last play, and it usually gives me a heart attack. But when you're on the road, you're not as good, and your team hasn't been able to get past that. Last season with Oklahoma, we keep bringing this up, and I know the atmosphere in Norman was crazy, and no, Texas doesn't have to go to Norman, and Oklahoma didn't have to go to Austin. That's two advantages for these two programs. Texas Tech has to go on the road to those places, and when they do, they usually don't perform as well as when they do in Lubbock. Now, is Texas perfect this year? No. After these first two games against bad teams, I can already tell that this Texas team has things to work on. One, the offensive line, which I think has done fine, okay, but they're supposed to be elite. And really, they have not, in those first two games, have not really upped the ante any. They're going to have to against Texas Tech, who last year's pass rush was, I didn't see it coming. And maybe you guys, you Texas Tech guys know more about your defense than I do, but I do know that your defense is better than Wyoming and UL Monroe. So offensively, we've got to establish the front line. But another guy I want to talk about is the star of the team, Colt McCoy, who has put up good numbers. I mean, it's not bad. No, he hadn't playing bad, but he has got off to really slow starts. And watching the team, not just Colt, but mainly Colt, it seems like they're pressing. Like, we're ranked number 2 in the country. We've got to win, and we've got to win big. Last season, coming in, and Matt talked about this earlier in the week. He said, I watch these guys, and it doesn't seem that they're having fun. They're pressing. They're acting like they've got to win. Last season, coming in, if you guys watched my early season videos, I didn't think Texas, I thought we'd do good, but I didn't think we'd be as good as we were. And no one in the nation thought that. And so the guys just went out and played and had a good time and just kicked some butt. This season, people are picking to go to the national championship. I'm picking to go to the national championship. All of Austin is, it's either Florida or Texas for most people are picking. So they go out every week knowing that the eyes of the world are watching them, knowing that you screw up at all, if you're even close with someone that you're supposed to beat, they may boot you out. So this team has got to get back to the basics, because that's what Vince Young brought when he played. A lot of people forget about this. They think just because of athleticism brought us over and won that game. That won that national championship and were that good that season. What Vince brought to Texas was a swagger and a confidence and a looseness. And I think, have we lost that? I don't think we've lost that. But I think we need to get it back a little bit more. I want to see the guys this week be just excited to play football, excited to beat Tech, because you've got to throw that in there. You've got to remember, this is the team that knocked us off last year and kept us out of the national championship. But at the same time, got to execute, got to do all that stuff, but I want to see the guys have fun. When you're having fun and having a great time, you're usually kicking some butt. Tech fans, if you're coming down to Austin for the game, I hope you enjoy yourself. I'm looking forward to this game, and as I said, I do think Texas will win this thing big. Can we lose this game? Of course. I haven't forgotten about Kansas State coming in here and kicking our tail. Okay, and Texas Tech is way better than Kansas State. I'm not making that comparison. But what should happen is a Texas win big, and I'm looking forward to it. So you guys, and as I said, you guys coming to game day, I should be out there. If you guys watch my vids, come say hi. And we'll hang out and whatnot. And then, of course, 7 o'clock tomorrow night on ABC, I'll be in the building. Texas Longhorns versus the Texas Red Raiders, looking to knock them off and move on. So, big game, conference opener. I can't wait. So, hook 'em horns, Texas fight, and as always, we'll see you later.